Do you remember kind of the crux in that Water 7 arc?
Yes.
Where they're coming to
Stop
terms
it. Okay,
with...
give me a sec.
They're coming to terms with the reality that the Going Merry won't work.
Yeah.
So do you remember what it was that the shipwrights told them was the problem with the Going Merry?
It was it the keel?
I think it's the keel. I don't know, but it's that
the
bottom piece of the ship.
It runs throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. And they were saying to the crew, once that is cracked, the ship is done. And it's not going to be able to have anything else happen to it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a phenomenal analogy there where, like, in many ways, the keel is the essence or the spirit of that original component. And I love the keel analogy because it's the part of the boat that is under the water. You do not see it. There's no representation of it on the surface, but you can tell when it is going well and when it is going poorly, right? And it feels like for the Avatar adaptation, it kind of feels like they took some scraps off of a Game of Thrones ship, and they just kind of took Luffy's very terribly painted sails that he tried to make when he was beginning the crew and put them on there and said, "Hey, it's Avatar." But like, and that's why it feels like it's a hollow shell.
Yeah.
Because that core piece is not there. That keel that undergirds the entire thing, that provides the structure, that carries the spirit of all the adventures that ship goes on to, that's not there.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels in a lot of ways like One Piece is kind of a real redesign of the whole ship, but they kept the keel.
Yeah.
That part is still there. And maybe the keel is, for lack of a better term, maybe that's Oda.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
maybe the keel for Avatar would have been Brian and Mike if they would have stayed on.
I think that's a really good point. It's kind of interesting too how maybe the Thousand Sunny is the optimal version of what Avatar should have been. Yeah. It's like it's going to be different. Like it looks different.
And that can be hard for people who love the original to get to.
Oh yeah, you might never love the Thousand Sunny as much as the Going Merry, and I would probably be in the same camp as those people.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters because both of those ships. I said we weren't going to cry.
We got it.
How is this happening? It's a ship. It's a ship. I'm crying over a ship.
You're not the only one.
This is so stupid. It's a ship. They're both carrying the crew.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah.
Both of them are doing their thing.
Yeah.
They're each playing a really important role, and they don't care about competing with each other.
Yeah.
The Thousand Sunny was never trying to outdo the Going Merry.
Yeah.
It was serving the purpose of taking these characters that we love on the adventure and the journey that we love.
Yeah. And there's a real cool thing then with the way that they treated the Going Merry when it goes down, when the literal spirit of the ship comes up. There's something cool about the relationship that maybe Usopp specifically, but all the characters have with the ship, that it does feel like they carry on to the Thousand Sunny.
Yeah.
And so even when the original is lost, it is because of the characters that are being carried by that ship. They carry the spirit with them.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like, maybe that's like your respect for what the original author did. And so you create something totally different, but we say, hey, we're still taking at the very least our memories of growing up with this show, how it made us feel, right? The respect and reverence for what this thing can do and how hard it worked. That's what we're carrying into this new adaptation, and that's going to be the fuel that, like, even, and maybe I'm starting to kind of feel like this is a perfect analogy, how even Frankie, somebody who did not have a relationship with the Going Merry, was able to create something out of his own heart and soul that was so beautiful. It was his greatest work because of how he saw the rest of the Straw Hats loving the Going Merry.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to take that as inspiration, and that's what I'm going to use to create my work that honors the original work.
And you know what's so cool about that is that the reason that we love it so much, both of those ships, isn't the ship itself as much as it is the people on board. So how much is that true that like the IP is the IP? How much of our love for it is going to be dictated by the ship itself versus the people on board.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about the original creators kind of being released from the Avatar remake, it's like, I don't see the people that I love on board.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter how hard the actors might try and succeed in some ways to bring those characters on board.
And have done really great work.
Yeah. They were never, they tried to do a recreation, but they were never handed off like a baton.
Yeah.
The spirit of the original.
Yeah. You did an amazing job. It's just really unfortunate that the keel was never given to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that being said, it makes me think that going into the future, the only way that I would probably watch season 2 is if Brian and Mike end up coming back on. I doubt it, which is why I probably won't. But if they're able to, or maybe we see something else where we see like that respect and reverence for the original work, that would give me more hope that they're going to give the actors, the crew, the editors, they're going to give the rest of the team more of the spirit to work with. And if we see evidence of that, then maybe I'll give season 2 a shot. How are they going to treat Toph? That is my biggest question. If you can do Toph well, maybe you can get me back on board.